I cannot afford to lose. Money Moicano pulling off the crazy upset victory over Benoit Saint Denis in UFC Fight Night Paris. He pulls off the doctor's stoppage, beat that boy like he owed him some money. Crazy night of fights. Let's get into our reactions.
Starting with the early prelim opener in the lightweight division, we have Balaji Oki versus Chris Duncan. Man, we had Oki winning this fight, but it did not go as planned. Dude fell asleep right on his lap. I didn't like how this went for Oki. I thought he was doing a decent job up until he started wrestling, and then once he slipped up that takedown, fell right asleep. And it was a weird finish. Like, he kind of looked like Duncan let go of that choke, and then he realized he was asleep after that. He hit him once or twice, and he's like, wait, he's out. Fight was over, man.
Yeah, man, we started the night off with a bang. First fight of the night. Took the L on the matchup. We picked Oki in it. He looked good, man. He was securing some takedowns. He was getting some ground and pound off. But Chris Duncan, man, showed that he has some improvements in his game. In his last matchup, he lost by submission. In this matchup, he gets the victory by way of guillotine choke. Impressive. Excited to see what's next for Chris Duncan. Let's move on.
Next fight, Nora Cornoli versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. Now, in this fight, we got this prediction right. We had Cavalcanti winning this one. Since she fought her before and she got the W, younger fighter versus the older fighter, figured this was an easy prediction. But the fight was actually pretty close. Cornoli was landing a lot. Closer fight than I would have assumed. But we got the W in this one, man. Cavalcanti was stuffing them takedowns.
Yeah, man, we picked the right horse in this matchup. But Nora Cornoli could have won this fight, but it seemed like she was fighting with her corner. She was yelling at her cornerman. She just didn't seem all the way focused on the matchup. She got outstruck slightly each round. Each of the rounds, I felt like. I thought Jacqueline Cavalcanti won a clear 29-28, but it was a split decision. You know the France judges, they're crazy out there. It is what it is. On to the next one.
In the flyweight division, we have Daniel Barez versus Victor Altamirano. Now, this was actually a banger of a fight. Victor Altamirano was I like his fighting style, man. Daniel Barez knocked him down twice, so I'm surprised they only gave him one on the official scorecard, but he knocked him down at the end of that third round at the buzzer. This was actually a very, very entertaining fight.
Yeah, man, Altamirano tried to maintain distance early on, but Bade was not playing. He was getting into the pocket, throwing heavy hooks. Dropped Altamirano with the right straight early on. Had him dazed. It looked like he was going to pursue the finish. Altamirano managed to survive. He showed that Mexican heart, showed that Mexican chin. On to round two. Altamirano starts piecing him up, throwing the body kick from range, throwing the jab from range. He secures the second round. We go to the third round. Bade just too much power, man. Too much power. He's throwing too much heat at Victor Altamirano, and it deters him from throwing enough volume back to win the round. Impressive victory for Bade. Altamirano, he's a veteran in the UFC. He's a solid fighter, but he's not the best. He's not like a ranked level fighter. Let's see what's next for Bade.
Yeah, I'm surprised this was a unanimous decision, man. This fight could have went either way, but an entertaining fight nonetheless. I got this one right. I think you picked Altamirano for this one. So in the women's bantamweight division, we have the beautiful Aileen Perez versus Daria Zalesniakova. I got this prediction right. Aileen Perez got the first round sub. Beautiful finish. This was a quick fight. I'm surprised. I feel like there's a little beef going on between these two chicks, but Aileen got it done, man. Then she put on a little twerking show after. I'm a fan. I'm officially a fan. I'm subscribing all day.
My man's just waiting for the OnlyFans link. But Aileen Perez, man, she looked impressive out there. She was able to secure 50% of her takedown. She had almost 2 minutes of control time in 4 minutes of fighting time, basically. So she had half the time of the fight. She was controlling her on the ground. She was able to get the victory by arm triangle submission. And then she twerked on her corpse after, man. Straight Jordan Levitt style.
On to the bantamweight division. We have Taylor Lapilus versus Vince Morales. This one, we got this prediction on point. Taylor Lapilus was a heavy favorite. Got the unanimous decision. Dude just had more output. All that. Ali, what were your thoughts on this one, man?
Super impressive striking display from Taylor Lapilus. He was looking super crisp. You know what we like to say on this pod? If he strikes good, he's looking like Izzy
Izzy
Adesanya out
Adesanya.
there. Lapalus was looking good, man. Very crisp striker. Vince Morales isn't the best highest level bantamweight out there. I'm excited to see what's next for Lapalus. Give him another guy that's maybe not ranked, but that is more known of a name. Excited to see what's next, man.
Moving on to the lightweight division, we have the
Your
fan
boy.
favorite Ludovic Klein versus Roosevelt Roberts. We got this prediction on point. Unanimous dub for Ludovic Klein. Walk us through this one, man.
Ludovic Klein was the minus 1,000 favorite when
Heavy
the odds
favorite.
closed on this matchup. It didn't really look like that, to be honest with you. Roosevelt Roberts, he was supposed to go in there and it was supposed to be execution style, but he was able to show some grit. He showed he was a UFC vet. He showed that he has some submissions in his bag. He was threatening him off his back. He couldn't really secure anything. And he showed his striking is not bad at all either. He was long and rangy, landed some jabs. But Ludovic Klein, he's the Chris strike. He's the more polished striker in this matchup. He was able to throw more volume, win each round. I don't know how two judges actually gave Roosevelt Roberts one round. I don't know how that worked. I thought Ludovic Klein pitched a shutout, but I thought each round was competitive. But Ludovic Klein edged each round out.
Moving on to the light heavyweight division, we have Umar Sy, the undefeated Umar Sy versus Dawoon Jung. We had this prediction on the money, unanimous decision for Umar Sy, although I did think he was going to get the submission victory. Walk us through this one, man.
Yeah, man. Omar Sy, a prospect with a lot of hype, undefeated, 11-0. Dawoon Jung is a big light heavyweight, has a lot of power on the feet. But Omar Sy, man, he showed good defense, good striking defense. Total strikes wise, Dawoon Jung was 36 for 124, man. He was shooting like me from 3-pointers, man. He was straight missing more than half of his strikes. Omar Sy showed good grappling in this match. He showed decent grappling. I'm not even gonna say good grappling. He needs some work. He has a lot of hype. I can see a future for him in the light heavyweight division because he can grapple, and we all know there's not too many grapplers in the light heavyweight division. I'm excited to see what's next for him. I don't want them to rush him. Slow roll this kid. Let him get more polished. He's going to be an all-rounder, man. Excited to see what he does in the division. France got a good fighter.
Yeah, they're going to keep saving him for all the France cards, in my opinion.
Yes, sir.
Moving on to the light heavyweight division, we have the return of Iwan Kutalaba in the W column. Iwan Kutalaba versus Ivan Erslan. Split decision victory for Iwan Kutalaba. We got this prediction wrong. We thought Ivan Erslan this was gonna be his welcoming party into the UFC. But Iwan Kutalaba showed why he was a vet, man. Dude had that output. Dude was putting it on him. You don't really see that too often from Iwan Kutalaba. I'm glad he still got that dog in him because it wasn't looking too well for him, man. He was on a skid, and I thought if he lost this one, he was out of the UFC. So I'm glad he got this victory. He was looking solid.
Yeah, man. The Hulk looked good, man. He showed improvements. He's only 30 years old. I thought he would be older than that, seemingly, because he's been in the UFC, it seems like, for damn near a decade at this point. He's been through some tough knockout losses. But hey, man, the Hulk is still trying to make his way to the rankings, trying to make his way to the title shot. He's not done yet. I don't think he'll ever be a championship caliber fighter, but hey, man, at least he still has a job. Impressive victory for Ion Kutalaba. Great bounce back for him. Erslan, on the other hand, this was his first fight against a guy who has multiple UFC fights, 10 plus UFC fights. His striking looked solid. His striking looked good. His takedown defense looked solid. His grappling exchanges on the mat was solid. Excited to see what's next for Erslan, but Kutalaba, good to see him bounce back in the W column.
Excited. On to the main card in the lightweight division. We have Fares Ziam, France's own Fares Ziam, versus Matt the Steamroller Favola. I personally got this prediction wrong. I had the Steamroller winning this one. I thought he was more of a dog. But damn, that knee up the middle was just, it was pretty, man. He put him to sleep. Seems like Favola just getting slept these days to all these French guys, man. It was not a good look. He did come out strong. He came out heavy. But that's never a good recipe when Yugi's off a knockout. That's never a good recipe off a knockout. Fares Ziam looked like a killer, man.
Yeah, man, I picked Ziam to win this matchup. I didn't think he was gonna win it like that, man. He knocked him out bad. Knockout is contender for knockout of the year at this point, man. It was crazy. Put him out cold. But hey, man, I told you this was gonna happen. The MMA gods do not play, man. Once you get finished, and it happens. It starts to be a propensity for it to happen again and again and again. This is back-to-back knockout losses. They were both gruesome. I think it's time for Matt Frevola to have that talk with himself, man. That inner talk, that inner monologue with himself. I think he needs to hang it up. Faraziem, impressive victory. He should get a ranked opponent next. That's like 7 fights in the UFC at this point, man. Give my man an opportunity at this point.
On to the featherweight division. We have France's own, France's favorite. Dude got motion out there, man. No Diddy. Morgan Charrier versus Gabriel Miranda. Morgan Charrier got the easy knockout victory in the second round. That was just a bad sequence by Gabriel Miranda, man. He threw a sloppy spinning back fist. Morgan just kind of waited for him and just bopped him clean and just slept him. It was a beautiful performance by Morgan. In the beginning, it wasn't looking too clean for Morgan. I thought Gabriel Miranda put on a good performance in the first round, but round 2 he started picking it up and then just found that finish at the end, man. Put him to sleep.
Yeah, man. Morgan Charrier closed as a big favorite in this matchup, even though he has 10 losses, and it was for a reason, it seems like now at this point. The French crowd was going crazy for him. They seem to like him. He seems to be a big fighter out there. And, man, that was a classic UFC 5 knockout, man. The guy missed the punch, and he caught him with the hook while he was turned and knocked him out, man. It was crazy, man. Impressive victory for Morgan Charrier. I'm a little skeptical on how good he can really be with that record that he has, man. But hey, man, I'm just being a little bit of a hater. Moving on.
Can't look at the records, man. He put on a good performance, and dude got motion out there, man. He had the whole crowd at the tip of his fingers singing the national anthem, bro. He can make them do whatever they want, dude. They love him out there for sure. Moving on to the welterweight division, we have France's own Kevin Jousset versus the dog Brian Battle. Now, we got this prediction on point. Brian Battle is just a dog out there. Dude is a beast. Got the second round knockout. Kevin Jousset was looking decent. He was looking decent in the stand-up. But that second round, man, Brian Battle just put it on him. Brian Battle was feeling disrespected all week. He was upset that he had to walk out first. And he showed why. Bro, I like Brian Battle in the welterweight division. I'm excited to see what's next for him.
Y'all really thought that the Butcher was gonna lose to a Frenchman? Brian Battle, man, he looked very impressive in this matchup. In the first round, man, he fought with a lot of ego. He was trying to take down Jousset, who has the judoka background. He has a solid base. That man's base is like tree trunks, man. He could not be lifted. He could not be moved. Brian Battle wasn't able to get any takedowns on him. But in the second round, Brian Battle went straight Charles Oliveira mode and started throwing them hooks, started throwing them uppercuts, straight shots, and put him out, man. Excited to see what's next for Brian Battle in the welterweight division. His only loss is to your evil twin, Renato Moicano. But I think Brian Battle's a problem in the welterweight division. I think he's a top 5, top 10 type of guy. He's an Ultimate Fighter winner. He could even be a champion. You never know, man. He looked good out there.
He definitely got the superstar look. Dude threw almost 200 shots in less than 2 rounds. 200 total strikes, almost. I think he threw like a total of 194 on this stat card that I have here. He's gonna be a problem for a lot of those welterweights, man. I'm excited to see what's next for him. On to the featherweight division. William Gomis, France's own, versus Joe Anderson Brito. Split decision victory for William Gomis. He had Fernando Lopez looking good out there, man. And the solid stand-up. Great fight overall. We actually predict this one wrong. We had Joe Anderson Brito winning this one because he's a dog in his own right. But William Gomis put it on him, man. He had the French crowd behind him, hyping him up, and he was looking solid in that third round. That third round was beautiful by him. That he was catching Brito all types of ways. The issue was I felt like William Gomis was a much bigger fighter. Brito was a little bit on the smaller side, so he had those high kicks all day, and it was messing with him.
Listen, man, I have no idea what you're talking about. This was a robbery. Highway robbery, man. They robbed that poor dude, Joe Anderson Brito. He won the first 2 rounds clearly, in my opinion. And then Gomis came on strong in the third. He definitely did. But you can't forget about the first 2 rounds. That's some hometown highway robbery BS. Joe Anderson Brito should have won this matchup. It is what it is, man. Gomis isn't a bad fighter. I'm not mad that it's not his fault that the judges gave him that little hometown favor. They're both good fighters, but I thought Brito did enough to win that fight. It is what it is. Moving on to the...
Yeah, it just seemed like those 2 rounds, the second and the third, the those were iffy rounds that it felt like the judges gave both those to William Gomis. Joe Anderson, Brito had that first round easy. I thought he might have won the second one. It was a close round in the second round. So it seemed like the judges went that way because the third round really went to Gomis. Gomis put it on him in the stand-up. Close fight. I love it. Excited to see what's next for both these guys. In the co-main event, we have Nasruddin Imavov versus Brendan Allen. This fight, man, that first round was looking really good for Brendan Allen. Dude took him down, controlled him for pretty much that whole round. Imavov had no answer for him. I thought Brendan Allen was gonna do this for the whole fight. Second round starts. Nasruddin was feeling himself, got his, got the French crowd behind him and started getting going. And the stand-up was looking crisp. I was like, yo, this guy looking like a champion out here. But by that third round, it wasn't looking pretty for either fighter, honestly, man. Imavov was looking tired. Brendan Allen was looking exhausted. He was just, all his takedowns were getting stuffed. I don't know if either of these fighters could be a champion in that division, man.
Yeah, man. I thought Imavov looked impressive, but that's my opinion. But Brendan Allen, man, that was very embarrassing. He was talking all that about the French commission, how they're taking blood and taking his pee after weigh-ins, and they didn't do it to the French fighters, but they did it for the foreign fighters. And even before that, he was saying how the UFC is protecting Imavov, and this fight should be a 5-round co-main event. And then he comes out there, looks impressive for the first round. I'm not gonna lie, gets the body lock takedown, gets the control, but he didn't take any risks on the ground. He just basically he was cool with just laying on top of him for 4 minutes. That showed no killer instinct from Brendan Allen's part. And then he gasses out after that. He proceeds to go 0 for 9 on takedowns for the rest of the fight, the second and third round. Imavov in the second round started landing that right straight often.
Yeah, I was gonna say even after the first round, Herb Dean went to Brendan Allen and was like, listen, if you're not going to move and advance nothing, I'm going to stand y'all up. I'm going to have to step in there because you can't have no activity, man. Nasruddin Imavov looked good. He looked good, man. That second round, he looked good in the stand-up. But that first round, how you let him take you down like that? When you guys are both fresh, like that should be a good round for you. So I'm not really too impressed.
Yeah, but after that, he stuffed 9 straight takedowns, man. After that horrific first round start, he stuffed 9 takedowns. Both fighters were tired, but Imavov was still stuffing every single takedown that Brendan Allen was throwing out there. And you can't forget, Brendan Allen's on an 8-fight win streak. Nasruddin Imavov snapped this man's 8-fight win streak, and he stuffed 9 straight takedowns from a grappler of Brendan Allen's level. Although he was tired, Imavov was also tired, and he was able to land a lot of volume in the second and third rounds on the feet. He was landing. Brendan Allen was just standing straight in a straight line of path, and Imavov was just straight right to his face. I mean, it looked like Brendan Allen never practiced head movement a day in his life. Nasruddin Imavov's striking looked impressive. I think he could be a future champ. He just needs to work on his cardio and his grappling defense a little bit in certain areas.
Yeah, that cardio is definitely going to be an issue because at the end of that third round, he kept looking at the clock. I don't want to sound like DC right now talking about O'Malley, but he kept looking at that clock. He was tired. He couldn't wait for that thing to be over. So he definitely needs to up his cardio because against DDP, that's not going to fly, bro. That's not going to fly. Not even against Izzy Adesanya.
Yeah, man. Brendan Allen unfortunately loses an 8-fight win streak, but he's a young fighter. He'll bounce back. Imavov gets an impressive victory, snaps a UFC 8-fight UFC win streak, and he's moving on. He's probably going to be top 5 in the middleweight division now. Can't wait to see what's next for him.
On to the main event of the evening. In the lightweight division, we have Renato Moicano versus Benoit Saint Denis. And boy, were we wrong with this pick over here. Renato Moicano just showed he was a vet, man. He had way more experience, came out, he had a solid game plan, took him down, man. It was looking like Khabib Nurmagomedov out there in the ground and pound, just throwing it on him. Elbow, punches, just, it was bad. 10-8 round across the boards, in my opinion. I didn't even look at the scorecards because all I had to see was Benoit's face. Dude was just puffed up everywhere. Couldn't even see. I'm surprised they even let him go out there for a second round. It didn't look good at all. It didn't look good at all for him in that second round. I'm glad they called it off. Good stoppage by the doctor. Renato was looking like I cannot afford to lose, my brother.
Democracy is a fallacy, brother. Paddy Pimblitz, I want you next, my friend. Muito bom. Moicano looked super impressive, man. He talked the talk and he walked the walk, man. He pulled up in the post-fight press conference with the suit like he the Brazilian Conor McGregor. Man, this kid's in his prime right now. At featherweight, he was able to work his way into the top five. A lot of people forget that about Moicano. He was able to work his way into the top five of a very skilled technical featherweight division. And now in the lightweight division, he had some setbacks early. He got beat up by Fiziev and he got beat up by RDA. But ever since those two losses, he's been looking super impressive. His last three victories, Drew Dober, Jalen Turner, Benoit Saint Denis, that's murderer's row right there. Moicano's on a run right now. I think, man, if you get the right matchups, we could see Moicano fighting for a title in 2026. At the end of 2025, I mean, pardon me.
The question is, does he want to fight for a title? Because it seemed like his call-outs after coming into the top five were Paddy Pimblett and Dan Hooker. Although Dan Hooker did move to the top. Is he top five now, Dan Hooker?
Dan Hooker's number 5 in UFC lightweight division.
Okay, I see why he called him
Paddy's
out.
15.
Those are both good matchups.
Paddy's 15. I think Moicano's like 11 right now, but he's probably going to be 10 or 9 after this.
That means Paddy getting the bag. And you know Moicano wants money.
Yes,
that's why he called him out. That would be an exciting fight. I'm not sure if he's looking at the title. You know, Islam is up there. Arman, these guys are tough. It would be tough matchups for Renato. So I can see why he's looking for these money fights. Brother cannot afford to lose, my brother.
Yeah,
I was excited, man. That was a good fight. Great fight for him.
Yeah, but from a technical standpoint, in that first round, on the first exchange, Benoit Saint Denis was throwing some herky-jerky leg kicks on the inside, and he tried to throw a right hook in the pocket. Moicano ducks under, gets the body lock. And Benoit Saint Denis is supposed to be a grappler and had no answer for the body lock on the back take. He tried to just big brother his way up, try to Derek Lewis stand up, and that doesn't work in the lightweight division. These fighters are too technical. He beat him up. He landed some vicious ground and pound, opened him up. He looked like he got hit by a truck after 5 minutes. Super impressive, man.
Yeah, tough skid for Benoit Saint Denis, man. You get knocked out by DP. You come out and then you get out grappled. You basically lose on the ground to a fighter. It's like, I wonder where the doctor
had to save him from money, man.
Yeah, I wonder where his confidence is. I'm glad the doctor stepped in there, because Benoit's a dog. He's not gonna stop going. But that second round was abysmal. He was throwing slow hooks. Everything was just slow, and it just seemed like Renato didn't want to engage with him. Like, bro, I already kicked your ass. Like, why they letting you out here like that, bro? I'm interested to see what happens next for Benoit. I hope he gets a good matchup where he can bounce back, because he is an exciting fighter in that division. But where did your confidence go after 2 L's like that?
Yeah, man. Honestly, I think it's over for him. To be honest, I don't think he'll ever be a top 10, top 5 type of fighter in the lightweight division. These guys are sharks in this division, man. Everybody has good jiu-jitsu. Everybody has good striking. Everybody has a good chin. These guys are modern day gladiators in the 155 division. Money Moicano is not somebody that's looked upon as an elite fighter at 155, and look what he just did. I think Benoit Saint Denis is a victim of the youth, man. These kids, he's an aura merchant. These kids talking about all this aura stuff, man, hyping up Benoit Saint Denis because he was special forces. None of that stuff matters in the cage. What matters is years of training.
That's he only got like 4 or 5. He doesn't have nearly the amount as Renato does.
Saint Denis didn't make his. Renato Moicano lost at 145 in 2019 to Jose Aldo by stoppage. That was before Saint Denis even made his pro debut. Moicano since moved on to 55, had some losses, and now is on an impressive win streak. And Benoit Saint Denis, he's green, man. He's too green for this 155 division. I think he should either go up to 170 or try to go down to 145, but I don't think he can make 145.
The issue is, does Paddy Pimblett accept that fight with him now? Because I think more than likely we're going to see Dan Hooker versus Renato. I think that's the matchup to make here.
I think they're going to try to do Paddy Pimblett versus Beneil Dariush. And if that's the next matchup they're looking at in MSG. That's what I heard. You know what I'm saying? But for Moicano, I think they might give him Justin Gaethje next.
Exciting matchups for both these fighters. I'm hyped, man. Let's get it.
That's Full Guard MMA, and we're out of here.
Peace.